Ball Nation!
Let's go.
Welcome into the Toyota Lounge, driven by your Front Range Toyota stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. It's DNVR Buffs Prime Time. Feels so good to be back and live right now.
Feels great to be back, man. I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. I hope everyone took a moment to memorialize those who gave their lives to help us, have our freedom in this country. And I hope everyone's ready to go kill it this week.
Yeah, big weekend. The team is back in town. It was kind of like a reset weekend for what's about to happen, basically.
It was. Did you get a nice little reset?
Oh, yeah. I had a great time out there.
Nice.
I went back home to Albuquerque, saw my boys, said goodbye to some of them, too, because some are moving.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, I had a very similar weekend. I saw some of my old friends, which is just, it's like fuel for the soul, man.
Yeah, it really is.
Had some homemade barbecue from my dad, which was unreal. And then my grandma is actually moving to Alaska.
Oh, wow.
So I said bye to her.
That's crazy. One of my buddy's sisters lives up in Alaska.
Yeah, my aunt and cousin, and now my grandma will.
We are presented by Legal Pete's, everyone's go-to spot for burritos, buddies, and beers. Long weekend, so we got a pretty good show, I think. We'll hit North Dakota State's head coach on the Week 1 matchup against Colorado. Of course, rest in peace to Bill Walton, Pac-12 legend. The latest human legend too, exactly. The latest on hashtag We Want Juju and more there. But we start today with Isaiah Augustave in Colorado's backfield. Well, really, we start with everyone showing back up. The team is, Isaiah Augustave just committed last week, but a lot of the guys who committed this spring portal period have showed up at Colorado.
Yeah, it's great. And I've talked about this a couple times, but I want to bring it up again because I think it matters. Last year around this time, everyone was new.
Yes.
And because of that, and everyone is a little bit of a stretch, but it was insane how much turnover there was between the spring and now. And I couldn't believe just how much how much they had to do in such little time. And I think right around now is when it started to set in. All the players were there, and it's man, they're starting from scratch today.
Yeah.
And they don't get to practice until August. And that honestly made the early season kind of explosion that much more impressive. There's something very different, though, this time around. Because every player that comes here is walking into an established culture, into a place where you're going to have to find your place in a universe that already exists. And that wasn't true of this time last year, where everyone is just trying to find their place. Everyone's trying to establish a culture. Like Shador and Travis and Coach Prime and all of the players who were here in the spring, the Justin Myers and the Mayers and the Khalil Bensons of the world, and all those guys together, combined with what was established last year, really have something. They feel they love each other. They're each other's brothers. Mm-hmm. Now, when you come in, it's your responsibility to find your place there and join the culture.
Yeah.
Rather than what it was like last year. And I think it's a huge, huge step in the right direction for this program.
Yeah, I mean, everything's just established at this point. There's a standards that's been set. There's expectations for what you are walking into, what's expected out of you, what's going to happen this summer with player-led practices, all that stuff. So it's just cool to see all the guys hanging out. I mean, so you can go to Colorado Buffaloes or CU Buffs football on Twitter. They posted pictures over the weekend of everyone who showed up. I'm not going to list them all. There's a lot of people. Cam Michael, and someone said we're saying Cam Michael's name wrong. So
Cam
is
Michael.
it Cam Michael?
I think it would be Cam Michael, not Cam Michael.
So let us know, whoever said that in the comments. Yaya Atia is there.
He said we were watching that video.
Yeah.
And he introduced himself.
He just said.
I think he just said Cam.
Cam, yeah.
Yeah, Cam, Statesboro, Georgia.
Dallin Hayden's there. Sam Hart showed up.
Oh yeah.
No.
Batia,
The bulldozer, brother.
I feel like we're about to enter a where is someone. I just don't know who it is yet.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. No, that's dead, bro. That's dead. Producer Yaya here though today.
If you're wondering why this show's a little worse.
Yeah.
Dude, they got to bring it in and bring you guys down a peg every now and then.
Just kidding. Yeah, we love you.
The chat's saying it's Michael, so it's Cam Michael.
That's crazy. All right. That's going to be a hard one to learn.
That's going to be easy. Come on. Yeah, I got to catch up on all that stuff today. But let's go to Isaiah Augustave. He committed on Thursday when we were doing the show for Friday. And I watched a little bit of him with Dre on Thursday. And honestly, he's kind of like that mold that Alton's in. Like an upright runner, bigger back. You know, he's like 6'2", 220, I think, also. But I was just thinking about that commitment because he was a 2023 recruit. Like, if he committed last year, that would have made waves.
Yeah. 4-star running back.
Yeah.
Big boy.
Oh, look at the backfield that Colorado is beginning to, shape up with. But it's kind of quiet now because of that. And I guess let's just try and see where he fits in this backfield because it's pretty loaded now.
Yeah, and, I talked about this when he committed, but it's finding guys who do something different. And I think everyone in this backfield does things a little differently than the other guys next to him. We already know some of the names in there. We're excited about Dallin Hayden. He's kind of that bowling ball type.
Yeah.
We know what Charlie brings to the table, but you add in Brandon Hood, and he's kind of your speed back. And now you have Isaiah Augustave, who's a bigger back, a taller back, and hopefully you can just find the right combination here. You can almost moneyball it a little bit in a running back room, especially because. Sure. Could you have Adrian Peterson, who does everything well?
Yeah.
Yes. And everyone would love to do that. But you can also have someone who does every little thing well. And you have enough scholarships to have, 5, 6 running backs in a room. And so if you have one who's a great pass catcher, one who's a great pass protector, one who's great short yardage, one who's a home run back, one who you love in the red zone, all together, you can have your Adrian Peterson.
Yep.
And it's just a different way of doing things. But, that if you don't have that breakout star, you can go and kind of piece it together. And that's what this running back room feels like to me is got a bunch of different guys who do little things well.
The first thing I think of with this running back room is they're really young, man. Micah's a true freshman. Augustave is coming in as a redshirt guy, or he preserved his redshirt, actually. He only played in 4 games last year. Was a 2023 recruit. Dallin Hayden was only a 2022 recruit. Charlie's like the veteran of that room, really. I think this is going to be his 4th season, counting his red shirt in 21. And then Brandon Hood, of course, that's a true freshman. So this is a really, especially when you talk about this position, it's always about youth and just being able to potentially carry a load at times, just depending on how depth works out with injuries and stuff. But we've got tons of fresh legs in this room. It's really exciting.
Yeah, it really is. Oh, I didn't even mention Micah there, who's similar in that bowling ball type. But it's true. You have a lot of potential, a lot of different skill sets, and you would love for one of these guys to break out. But regardless, I think you've put together a nice looking running back room.
Yeah, and then just going back to what Unk said on Friday's show about, because I asked him, I was like, do you think Micah could be like the guy, like the leading in attempts, yards, and touchdowns? And Unk sounded pretty confident in that. So I don't know. I'm beginning to think that Micah's just going to be the guy. Like first snap, week 1, he might be out there starting.
I think there's some people that are going to have some things to say about that.
Yeah?
Who? Dallin, I think most importantly.
Okay.
But I think everyone will. And I would, again, love to see Micah rise on that type of curve. But I think there's going to be a big competition at that position in the fall, and obviously Micah is the known commodity right now, at least from what Unk has seen at practice and that sort of thing. But I think a lot of people are going to have a say in who's going to get carries, including Charlie.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see any of the Hood guys, Brandon or Trent, making him. Trent is massive. Like, that could just be your goal line back. He's around like 240 pounds. I know he played linebacker in high school too, but if he fits it in the running back room, like, that's an easy short yardage guy right there.
Also, still need a fullback, kind of.
Yeah, we'll see if that works out. They kind of went two back at times a little bit last year.
Yeah.
When Pat Shurmur came in, it was really, I think it was Hank and Dylan that we saw it with. So it'd be an interesting dynamic now that you have more size and speed all around in that backfield as opposed to just one guy like last year.
Absolutely. And in a perfect world, the pass is going to open up the run this year, and those guys' jobs are going to be so easy.
Definitely, man. I'm super excited to see how this running back room shakes out. It's going to be a lot of competition, man. A lot of competition this fall. We had that last year, but, man, it feels like it's just the bar's been raised a bit. Now that you see all these guys coming in, and they're talking about in the Toyota chat there, we've got real size this season too, man.
Yeah.
These guys are big time.
I'm excited.
All right, shout out to our new friends over at Vestibule. You know what Vestibule is?
Tell me all about it.
I can tell you all about it. As sports
You're
fans,
not doing a good job.
No, I was just finding it. As sports fans, have any of you had the thought, what if you could buy stock in an athlete? Now you finally can. Vestibule is a new platform, first of its kind investment app where fans can invest in an athlete's career and get paid a portion of the athlete's income throughout it for doing so. The first athlete they're launching with is one of Denver's own, Baron Browning, outside linebacker for the Broncos, one of the most explosive, dominant young pass rushers in the league. He's on his rookie contract. He's headed for a big-time extension, so you don't want to miss out on this guy. You can buy into Baron's IPO, buy his stock, and really kind of grow with him. His IPO is live right now, and shares are available for purchase, but they are limited. So go download the Vestibule app now and invest. If there's one buff, is it Travis Hunter?
No, I would take Shador.
Okay.
But what an awesome concept.
Yeah.
And I think actually Spencer Dinwiddie tried to do this. He's always been very on the front lines of things when it comes to money. Obviously, he was in on the crypto stuff, but I think he tried to allow people to like crowdfund shares in him that would then be based on his next contract, what they would return would be, which is exactly what they're doing here. Yeah. Really cool concept. I would love it. And yes, I hope that they continue to expand here so I can buy my Shador Sanders stock.
I'm going Travis first, man.
All right.
I have to.
That's what makes this show great. I'm Shador and you're Travis.
We've been pretty consistent in that,
We
too.
have.
And who else? I think Bet365, the GOATs. Man, I messed up this weekend.
Uh-oh, what'd you do?
Let
me guess it was F1 related.
It was racing related, yes.
Okay.
Indy 500 as well. I didn't get bets in before I left the wonderful state of Colorado.
Classic rookie move.
Yeah. Terrible. So I was just staring at my Bet365 app, just all these lines that I can't actually bet on.
Yeah. I didn't bet much this weekend, but I did place one bet on Leeds, and they lost.
Yeah, man, that was a bummer.
Huge bummer. Bad things come in threes. Avs, Nuggets, and now Leeds. So now we're back on the up and up. Got to be good things come in threes next.
What's next for you? Are you gonna be a Rockies guy this summer?
No. I would love to be. The baseball is one of my first loves as a sport, but it's not possible to be a Rockies fan right now.
So it looks like we're gonna get Celtics Mavs.
Uh-huh.
Who would you bet on to win the series?
I would just bet with my heart and pick the Mavs. I watched basketball for the first time since the Nuggets lost.
Yeah.
On Saturday night, Sunday night, I got drunk enough to not feel the pain of the Nuggets being out and watched the last 7 minutes of Mavs Timberwolves.
Is that the buzzer beater game?
No, that was just like the Luka masterclass.
Oh, okay.
In the last 7 minutes game, and that felt good. That felt good to watch them win. So I'm guessing they play again tonight. I might watch. I might watch start to finish.
All right. Good to hear that nature is healing and you're healing with it.
I am.
Shout out to Bet365, though. You can sign up with the code DNVR365. Deposit $10, bet $5 on anything, and you can get $150 back in bonus bets with that code DNVR365. You must be 21 or older and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Julian Lewis.
Our guy.
Our guy. It's heating up, man.
Yeah, it is.
So the wonderful Laura Levi posted... Levi or Levy? Sorry, by the way. I know she's probably listening.
I think Levy.
Okay. She's the one who posted the video of Peggy last week. Juju saw that.
Oh, yeah. Liked it.
He liked it. He responded to... It was either that one or another one.
She posted, like, bonus footage.
Right.
And he responded to that one.
He said, humbled and blessed, hashtag keep working. He sees this. He
Oh, yeah.
knows.
He feels it.
Oh, yeah, he does.
CU fans are making their presence felt. And that much was clear in what Steve Wiltfong had to say.
Yep. So he went to, where were they at? Like an On3 summit or whatever with a bunch of recruits. And Juju was there. He literally just published this too, so I'm kind of reading through it as we go through.
Fresh, hot off the presses, if you will.
Yep. But Juju said, I'm still locked in with USC. That's my spot. That's where I'm at. I'm just running through the experience because you only get to do this one time, and everybody's like, just enjoy what you have. Enjoy the process. I'm going to go around and see how I feel with everything, but right now I'm 100% with USC. And then...
Wouldn't believe that if I was a USC fan.
It's if you scroll down in this article, it's Colorado #2 as like the sub headline. So outside of USC, it's Auburn, Indiana, and Colorado. Those are the official visits he's going on. And what's today? May 28th. So next month still.
Yep.
He's going on those 4 visits, and then it sounds like we're expecting Juju to shut down his recruitment, of course. He spoke about Colorado. He said, overall, Colorado is probably the biggest name popping right now. They've got a lot going in terms of Coach Prime, Shador, all those guys in terms of media and stuff. The season Shador had last year was kind of unexpected from my standpoint. Just getting to talk to Shador about his whole process and all that stuff just kind of opened my eyes to the situation of Colorado because I didn't even think of Colorado until Coach Prime and all of them moved there. On Pat Shurmur, he said, he's a great guy. He moved in end of last season or something like that. He's like Auburn's quarterback coach, Kent Austin. Coach Shurmur's been in the game a while. He's had some guys around him. He's dealt with the best. He's been there for a while, and he gets along well with Shador. So there you go. He's not really showing his cards too much right now. He seems very, honestly, very mature for his age, but very present. Like, he just wants to go through all the visits, take them all in individually, and then once he's done, with Colorado being that last visit, kind of look back and see where he's at.
Absolutely. I've said this from the beginning about Juju. It's going to come down to, does he want to be another Lincoln Riley quarterback? And as I've said every time, there's no shame in that. Totally will understand if that's the decision he makes.
Yep.
Or does he want to pave his own legacy at Colorado and be the first Coach Prime quarterback that isn't named Sanders? And I think that there's a lot of power in that. He's talked about building his personal brand and what that means to him. It's obvious you can't do that at any other school the way that you can at Colorado, including USC. I think he'll come to learn that Colorado's fan base is about 10 times as good as USC's. And whatever decision he makes, he's going to be a baller. But I hope that he decides to come to Colorado, and I think that it's the absolute perfect fit for him. It almost feels like it's like written in the stars that Julian Lewis would be the next quarterback to play for Colorado after Shador Sanders goes and gets picked number 1 overall in the draft. I purposely said that because someone was complaining that I say that.
He was also made The number 1 overall player in the 2025 class by Rivals. This quote on the post says, Lewis has it all from leadership abilities to elite decision-making and arm ability. Lewis remains the number 1 player in the 25 class, but after other spring evaluations, there will be a major battle for the top spot moving forward. He reclassified from 26 to 25, remains committed to USC, Colorado, Auburn, pushing hard to flip him. He'll also visit Indiana. Carrollton coach Joey King also coached Trevor Lawrence in high school, and he said Lewis is in the same category. We believe him. Also,
and it came out recently that he said that they've put more on Juju's plate than they ever put on Trevor Lawrence's, which is a hell of a compliment for a young quarterback.
Yeah, for sure, man. Because he was like a freshman phenom too when he came in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was. Everyone knew his name for a while.
Last thing on We Want Juju. Of course, that visit date, June 21st to 23rd, that weekend here in a few weeks. Colorado's bringing in reinforcements. 2 commits from the 2025 class have announced that they will also be in Boulder that weekend. 2025 3-star tight end Corbin LaShore and our guy Mantrez Walker out of Buford High School will both be in Boulder for that visit. They're recruiting and throwing everything they can at Juju for that weekend, man.
Absolutely. And he's gonna feel it. He's gonna feel the love, and he's gonna feel the vibes and the atmosphere at Colorado and how different it is from anywhere else.
So we are pretty far away still. We have
3
this
weeks.
weekend. Yeah, it's 3 weeks after that. So we'll see. He's going to take all his visits before, obviously. So it will be a minute, but what?
Nothing.
Any movement on the organizing something for that weekend?
Yes. We'll figure it out. We just have to be kind of low key about it.
Okay.
So, but we'll make it happen. We've got time.
We do have time. Plenty of time.
Yeah.
Anything else on Juju?
Nope.
All right. Shout out to Coors Light. Man, I went to like a cookout on Sunday. I show up, going through the coolers. One cooler's just full of Coors Light. It was like, yep, I'm going to be here a minute.
Yeah.
But shout out Coors Light. Always there for you when you need to chill.
This weekend was like the first weekend, especially last night, where it was like legitimately hot. And once it gets legitimately hot, an ice cold Coors Light
Oh, yeah.
hits so different.
Coors Light's like the official beer of Memorial Day weekend.
It's a fair take. Good take.
Thank you. Thank you. I also went golfing this weekend a lot, too. Crushed some Coors Lights out there. Yeah, I went... oh, man, I got some stories about that.
Okay.
This golf course out there, they screwed us over twice.
What?
Yeah.
How?
We show up on Friday morning. We've had this tee time booked for like a week. We show up like 45 minutes before to like hit a bucket of balls or whatever. And then we go into the shop and they're like, oh, yeah, you're going to have to be pushed back. We had a tournament and more people showed up than we expected. So we're going to let them run through. Crazy, first off.
They would never let us do that at one of our tournaments.
So we're like, all right, whatever. They said 30 minutes or so. We didn't tee off till like 11:30 and our tee time was 10:10.
Ooh.
Crazy.
Nasty work.
Crazy. So we were going to play 18. We could only play 9. So that afternoon, we leave, and we're like, let's just go again. Like, there's nothing to do on Saturday. So I call, make a tee time. We show up on Saturday. They don't have our tee time.
What?
Yeah. Crazy,
Dang,
bro.
man. They got to get it together over there.
So I had to get a few extra Coors Lights just to chill.
The only thing that sucks about that is like you were paying them to screw you over.
Yeah.
Hate that. I also played golf a couple times this week.
Nice.
It was a good time. Had a tournament. Did all right. I think I finished T8.
Okay.
So not bad. What else was I gonna say about golf? I forget. Great sport.
Great sport.
Can't hit my driver right now. It's literally killing me. I just remembered.
Okay.
Snelson
Yeah.
and Paul want to play us.
Yeah, let's go.
2-man scramble.
Okay.
Do you feel like your game is suitable for this?
I mean, you're gonna carry me, bro.
I
But
just need you to hit like 5 to 10 good shots.
oh, easy.
All right, let's go.
I'm okay. Now that you got me going here, I've learned I'm a pretty good putter.
Ooh, that's huge in a scramble. Let's go. All right, we're
right.
locked in.
There we go.
Snelson, we're coming for you.
Make the most out of the times you choose to chill this summer. Choose Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. And then Lavello Construction.
Love Lavello's Construction. With them by your side, you can rest easy knowing the seasoned professionals are championing your cause. Let them help you rebuild and restore your home with confidence. Don't wait. Reach out to Lavello Construction today by scanning the QR code below or call 303-578-8551 and tackle those claims together. Go Buffs. And also, it should be noted that Lavello Construction was with us at the legendary or infamous spring game tailgate where we were getting poured on. And it was somehow worse weather than the weather from the year before where it was
I still
snowing.
can't believe it, bro. I still can't believe it.
I can't either. But the thing that I will say is last year, spring game weather, terrible. Every home game weather,
Immaculate.
fantastic.
Yep.
So we'll get that again.
Yeah, shout out to Lavello Construction. Come through the tailgates. They'll be there, I'm sure, this season as well. Did you give out the number?
Yep.
Okay,
303-578-8551.
Cool. All right, moving on here. Just a few things to touch on in segment 3. Get your questions in the Toyota chat. We'll get to them after this. But rest in peace to Bill Walton, man. It's crazy. The Pac-12 finishes their last baseball game this weekend, which is the last Pac-12 game ever, as we know right now. And then Bill Walton just salutes and leaves us.
Yeah, man. I'm sad about this one. And since you mentioned the Pac-12, I'll just mention this. I'm sad that Bill Walton had to live in a world where the Pac-12 was going away.
I know.
I kind of wish it would have just happened after he was gone.
Yeah.
Because he was a champion of the Pac-12, quite literally and figuratively, and was a special human. Jake, for me, he's a sportscaster. Obviously, I wasn't alive for his playing career.
Right.
I have shed tears over 2 sportscasters being gone from us in my life. The first one was Stuart Scott. That one hit me really hard because he was kind of the voice of my childhood.
Yeah.
And like hearing the way his daughter spoke about him, and it was just
same for me, man.
Yep.
Like childhood memories of like watching Sports Center with my dad. It was Dan Patrick and Stuart Scott.
exactly. And they were so good.
They were
together.
hilarious. They were awesome.
And then I cried yesterday when I found out that Bill was gone, and not in such a different way, because I just feel like the world needs people like Bill Walton in it right now.
Yeah.
And he was such a beacon of positivity and light. And the way that he approached everything is something that everyone can learn something from. And so, like, sometimes the world is like such a sad place.
I know.
And people like Bill are like what turn it around, you know, and make you see the light and the positivity. And so it just like hit me in such a weird way that's like, man, we need Bill Walton right now.
For sure.
And it makes me really, really sad that he's gone. I had a amazing experience with him way back in the day. This was just months after we had started the first ever iteration of this podcast, back then known as the BSN Buffs Podcast. And we ran into Bill Walton at the liquor store in Boulder, Colorado.
Let's go.
And asked him if he would record an intro for us.
Yeah.
And he did it happily, and he was like, just tell me what you want me to say. And so we told him, and then he just spun it off into his own thing after that. So we actually have it. I saw this on my phone. It was recorded September 24th, 2015. Just weeks, maybe months after the very first podcast I ever did. So here's Bill Walton.
Hey now, Bill Walton here, and you're listening to the BSN Buffs Podcast with RK and B-Bads. Remember, when everybody thinks alike, nobody thinks. And it's okay to disagree, just don't be disagreeable. Go Buffs.
That is so amazing. Thank you, Bill.
That is incredible, bro.
I know, right?
That's incredible.
So
Oh my
great.
God.
And I love that we forever have the recording of Bill saying "Go Buffs."
Hell yeah, man.
I should also note, I have been looking for that audio for years.
How'd you find it?
Just like random times where Bill Walton was like in the news or whatever, I'm just like, oh man, I want to find that. And I've never been able to find it. And obviously yesterday gave me like a little extra motivation to just turn over every rock. What I did, which is kind of crazy that you can go this far back. You know how if you look through your text with someone, you can click on their name and then you can see like all of the pictures you've sent.
Yeah.
And so I looked through that. I couldn't find it. I actually found the picture that we took that with him that day. I was like, it's got to be here somewhere. Well, if you scroll below pictures, it's like files that you've shared. So I had texted the audio to Bryce at some point, and so I was able to find it, which is crazy that that's archived in our text conversation since 2015. But I was so happy when I found that last night. And so rest in peace, Bill. I feel like there's probably no one who was more at peace with their life when he went. But I wore the Dead and Company shirt in his honor today. Obviously, all-time great Deadhead. And I'm going to see Dead and Company at the Sphere.
Nice.
After it, they're playing the day after Big 12 Media Days.
Wow.
And so I will have Bill on my mind when we're there for that.
That's awesome, man. I don't think anyone loved life as much as Bill Walton did.
We can all learn from him.
Him and Dave Pash on the broadcast, man, you knew it was going to be just a ride every night.
It's so good. Yeah.
He's just, I mean, the way that he talked about the game and the way he just like, he would like switch immediately from like being serious, like giving serious analysis, and then he's just like joking around right after, like yanking on Dave's chain and stuff, like right after that. And all the stuff that Dave was posting on Twitter was really cool to see too. I don't know if you saw that.
Yep. He loved Boulder. He always made that clear on the broadcast. Always gave shout outs to like local business. He loved Pasta J's. And I just remember being at some of the Dead shows at Folsom. And I mean, you just look down into the crowd. There's thousands of people on the floor. And one is just standing way above the rest. You're like, there's Bill. So.
Oh, man. Yeah, man. Rest in peace to Bill Walton. It's a bummer we're not going to be able to hear him on broadcasts anymore. I always loved it when it was like a Buffs road game or something, and it's like a 10 p.m. tip-off or whatever it was, and you're like, damn, this is so late. Then you just hear his voice, and you're like, it's all right.
And you're like, this is going to be entertaining no matter what happens in the game.
Exactly. All right, last thing I've got today. If you could pull up that clip. So North Dakota State's head coach, it's in Buffs assignments. He spoke about the opening matchup with Colorado in week 1. And I don't remember when Sonny Dykes did it last year, but a lot of what head coach Tim Pulasic said from North Dakota State kind of reminded me of what Sonny Dykes was saying last year about scouting this team, trying to learn what they're about, going through the film. Are you ready for it? But it's just, again, how do you even prepare for this team?
Yeah, it's very different. I also think it's probably a little easier this year to prepare for them than it was last year, just because we now, like, back then it was like no one even knew what Shedeur.
Right.
Most people didn't know what Shedeur was going to look like. A lot of us did. And so that was a whole almost just flipping of a coin. I remember us talking like, if you want to watch film on Colorado, you're going to have to watch 50 different games of different teams. This is not quite to that level, but obviously a new offensive coordinator who's not going to look anything like he did in the last 3 games of last season.
New DC.
A whole new offensive line. It's definitely a challenge for them. I'll be honest, I couldn't listen to this with a clear mind because the guy asking the questions just pissed me off so much.
Hey, big time hater energy.
You can play it.
The anticipation of the season opener, Tim, is you can feel it. People ask me all the time about Colorado. Is that, even with the guys, I get a little glint in their eyes. You get a sense of that? It's a different season opener that you have.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago I asked the young guys, make sure everything's getting broke down. Typically we would have got on that stuff in February for 2 or 3 days. Yeah. And with everything that we've had going on, there was bigger task that we need to focus on. But we're going to get that wheel cranking here on May 20th through the 24th. We'll be a straight game planning. And then I've asked the guys also to be aware when they're on the road, take a peek. And then so we'll start planning that. I still think it's more about us than it is about whoever we're playing. And so that should still be the central focus, but we got to start cultivating some thoughts. And we're going to have to dig for film, because they got a new coordinator. They got a new coordinator offensively and defensively. They
got players going left and right that are leaving there. So
so it's going to be, what I think it's going to come down to who's better at the basics, who can make some big plays and big moments, and then special teams could tilt this matchup to where if somebody makes a mistake or it's not clean football, all of a sudden it's going to be that'll be a game changer.
I'm already jacked for the season. I know you are.
Yes.
Okay, so a lot to get into there. I want to start off the top when he was talking about we've kind of had bigger things to worry about. And usually we would have prepped for our week 1 opponent already, game plan and all that. We'd already kind of know what we're walking into. And it's part of what we've talked about in North Dakota State so far this year. This is not the same North Dakota State team as it was 5 years ago. The way that NIL and transfer portal have affected big FCS teams like this, in terms of losing some of their best players and just literally trying to recruit their roster back to North Dakota State.
Yep.
And this is a new head coach.
Yep.
So they're kind of going through what we went through this time last year, where you don't know who's on the team. You're trying to keep your best players or figure out who your best players are at this time, find new ones, and then you're trying to either, I don't know what's exactly going on out there, either continue the culture that they had or try and instill some new pillars of the culture that you want to bring to North Dakota State.
Yeah. A lot on his plate. And you got to, wish him the best, except for in week 1.
Yep.
But they weren't able to keep their best receiver. They had some other big turnover. I think they had one or two guys who were NFL bound. So it's a whole flip for them. It's very coach speaky to say it's going to come down to special teams. I feel like I've heard coaches say that about week 1 about 1 million times. But to me, this is going to come down to essentially talent. The talent gap should be so wide that Colorado would really have to fumble their preparations to not be able to exploit that.
Yeah. I want to talk about that in a second. But, he mentioned the film. You're going to go, what are you going to do? You're going to go back, watch Giants or Broncos film to learn about Pat Shurmur, maybe some of the last 4 games of last year. You're going to go watch last year Colorado for Shedeur Travis, a bunch of guys who are coming back. You're probably going to need to go watch the Bengals a ton to figure out what's going on defensively. You're going to need to figure out all these new players like Dallin Hayden, like Michael Welch. These are guys who haven't played in college yet or played very little. So you don't really know what you're getting there. On top of just all the other changes that have happened in Boulder this fall or this spring, again, how do you keep up with it?
You don't. And I agree with Coach when he says it's more about us than them.
Absolutely,
it has to be early in the season, especially with the way that college football is today. And I think Coach Prime would say the same thing about North Dakota State. But you wanted to say it. I told you that the way that he talked about, they've got players leaving left and right, and then laughed, really rubbed me the wrong way. But the commenter had it perfect. Why? It's always about who's leaving, never about who's coming in.
Yep.
And not to get too deep here, but it's just a problem we have these days in our world, which is people only see what they want to see and hear what they want to hear.
Yep.
So if you want to believe that Colorado's losing all of their players and they're in a downward spiral, then you'll just see the stuff that confirms that.
Yep.
And you won't see the stuff that goes against it. And that was 100% the feeling I got there is okay, well, you're a North Dakota State fan. You want to believe that, that this team is going to be able to go into Boulder and win in week 1. Of course, you're going to hear it louder when players leave rather than when players come in. So we'll see, because you and I know it's all about the golf balls.
Yep.
And the bowl got more full this year.
Oh yeah. Last thing from that was when he kind of mentioned special teams being the difference in this game. If that's the case, this is one, a really close game. 2, North Dakota State and maybe Colorado, a lot better than many people thought. But I don't know, man. I don't know if it was Buffed in Prime or who it was, but someone was posting like North Dakota State D-line stuff. We've got a pretty substantial advantage in that department in terms of size, strength.
Yeah, I think that was coach speak. Like, I don't think he's going to say
Of course, but
anything else. But it shouldn't come down to special teams.
no.
And this is the weird part about these early season games, but like, you don't want to play this close. It's not going to make you feel great about how things are going. Mm-hmm. It also, you have to understand that week 1 games are just weird and weird things happen. But
Yep.
the good news for Colorado is they've got one of the best punters in the country.
Yep.
They've got a kicker they can count on. Apparently, maybe a new kickoff specialist in the mix.
All right.
Who can really boot that thing. So special teams should be great, and we know they have great returners.
Yep.
So if it did come down to special teams, I would say probably advantage Colorado.
Yeah.
The same as if it came down to offense or defense or anything else.
If Colorado takes the opening kickback, I'm posting that clip immediately. All right. To the Toyota chat we go. Unless you've got anything else.
Nope.
All right, Devin says, I have a question that I've been waiting to catch a live show for. How come everybody has something to say about going to Colorado to be a rapper, but nobody ever said anything about... Oh. Okay. Where's the running back from Arkansas? Oh, man. I don't know, man. He just committed.
Yeah. Probably like packing.
Yeah. Where's Sammy Sachs? He was at the leadership retreat and stuff. He's like with the team.
All right.
Joshua, where do you find the game footage of our commits that you speak on? I can't find anything on half of them on YouTube.
It just depends on the player. Like if they played at Arkansas, it's a lot easier to find clip on them than if they didn't play at Alabama or they played at like Southeastern State or something, you know.
Yeah, so like Augustave it's easy to find stuff on him, just at least the Missouri game, because sometimes full games just get uploaded on YouTube. That one's up there, but like Preston Hodge, like I've been wanting to watch Preston Hodge film since he came here, do a film room on him. Liberty Film is just not out there on YouTube. It's not in any of like the databases I subscribe to. It's just there's some schools that are just harder to find than others.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you see the Bill Walton clip about Liberty?
No.
It just popped up on my timeline last night, and something about the school came up, and he just goes, "If there has ever been a more misapplied name for a school."
Shout out to Bill for always keeping it real, man. Yeah. What's up, Eric? Any chance of getting Papa Goldberg in the studio? But we see a lot of him in Goldberg. He should start the game on the mic saying, "Who's next?" Then Ralphie comes out.
Are you a wrestling guy?
Nah.
See, that's hard because neither am I. I feel like we wouldn't do it justice.
Right.
I, of course, would love to have him.
Yeah.
But I guess we could just talk ball with him.
For sure. I mean, he played football,
Yeah,
right?
he did. Yep. Maybe we can bring in backup of someone in the office who's a wrestling guy. All right.
Is Mitch a wrestling guy? Mitch is one? I don't know if we have any wrestling dudes here.
I feel like it's like 1 out of 3. One in
Really?
3 men.
Oh, J Mike is, yeah.
Well, he's not invited.
Yeah, he can't do this show. Love that guy, but can't do this show. Shelly says, didn't Juju change his visit date, move it up? I doubt it. He posted that official visit tweet last week that said 21st through 23rd.
Yeah.
Shelly, again, why isn't it a no-brainer decision for him to come to see you? It seems obvious and clear. Doesn't he want NFL coaching ASAP?
I mean, you could say that about any player, right?
Well, and you've talked about it, too, when we were talking about Juju in the second segment. Like, he's touted as this phenom 5-star quarterback, and all Lincoln Riley does is produce very productive Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks.
Yeah. And like I said, you could never blame someone for making that decision.
Yeah.
I would just say from like a culture and vibes, and opportunity standpoint, the ceiling is much higher at Colorado for, like we talked about, instant superstar.
Yep. Arnowski Live says, when are y'all giving out projected starters? When do you think is time for that?
I don't know. I mean, we've already done one.
Yes.
A lot has changed since then. That was pre-spring. Should we do a post-spring and then are we going to end up doing 3 where we do one right before the season? Because we're not going to get any new information. You know what I mean?
Right.
Between now and fall camp, other than just like how guys are looking, working out and stuff like
Right.
that. We'll talk about it.
I say we do at least one more this offseason and then at least one more right before the season. Or right before camp, at least.
Someone in the comments said Neely's a wrestling guy.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. Perfect answer.
People are saying that he was teammates with Prime
Yeah.
in Atlanta, so.
That's awesome.
Boom Shakalaka says, can Coach Prime bring in Brian Shaw, Colorado native, and 4-time
World's strongest man.
to talk to the team? That would be so sick.
Didn't he have a world's strongest man here last year? I recall.
Nothing comes to my mind.
I think they did. They had like a crazy weightlifting. Maybe it was like an Olympic weightlifting champion or something like that.
Okay.
It might have been Brian Shaw, actually, for all I know.
Coach Prime can literally bring anybody he wants. He had Dwayne The Rock Johnson. He could get Dan Lanning in Boulder.
Whoa.
If he
Hold
really
on there.
We do not want that.
I know, but like, he could get him to talk shit to him, to his face if he wanted that.
No, the weird thing is we're probably going to get Dan Lanning in Colorado for like a Broncos game this year or something when Oregon's on bye. Yeah. That's going to be weird.
Whatever. They're in the Big Ten now. Like, it's kind of unfortunate, but I don't really think about them anymore.
I agree.
Have fun in East Lansing.
Kimmy asks, with the new kickers, will Philly drop on the charts? Sounds like he'd be the first guy to, I guess, take a hit if he's the kickoff specialist.
Yeah. We'll see. You know, there's a lot of competition to be had.
There is. Across the board, yeah. Kicker. I mean, really, it's like quarterback and punter. Like the only positions locked down on this team as it stands. Maybe left tackle, too. Maybe Shiloh, safety.
Yeah. It was Mark Henry who visited the team. He was WWE, and then strongest man in the world is like his title. So I was right. Okay.
Did you ever watch those competitions?
I used to watch them all the time when I was a kid.
Yeah.
They're
Insane.
awesome. My favorite one is the throwing the kegs, where they have to throw the kegs like over that thing.
Yeah.
Alex Kelly, former CU center, is doing that type of training right now.
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
I always like the big like stone like ball boulder things that they'd like
Have to
because they had
pick
like
up
a
and
whole
carry.
technique. Yeah. And then like when they're like pulling like a truck or something too.
Oh yeah,
with
that's a great one
chains.
too. Yep. I just remember like watching that at my grandparents' house when I was just like hanging out there in the summer with nothing to do in the middle of the day. That, and then there was like these weird home run derbies that would go on. Mm-hmm. Like I don't even know where they came from, but it would just be like Todd Helton versus like Adrian Beltre or something, and like it would just be a one-on-one home run derby just on TV, like ESPN 3 or something.
Yeah, it's like after the 9 p.m. NFL Live rerun is over, it's like World's Strongest Man comes on.
Yeah.
around that.
Couple Fred McGriff commercials on. Remember those? The baseball, they're like a baseball academy video with Fred
gosh.
McGriff.
Shelly asked, did Bill Walton live in Boulder? I just realized what RK was saying. He was Pac-12 analyst. In my mind, I was thinking he was UCLA announcer.
No, he was Pac-12. He did NBA too.
Yep.
He did not live in Boulder. He lived in San Diego, but I think in spirit he lived in Boulder.
Yeah. Chase Howell retweeted this picture he took from like 2017 of Bill Walton writing Ralphie.
On their Ralphie statue. Yeah.
Broncos Country edits. What's up? He says, what do you think will be the closest matchup on our schedule?
Like closest game?
Yeah.
Well, did we get 3 overtime games last year or just 2?
Colorado State, Stanford, and who am I missing then?
I think that was it.
Yeah.
I got a feeling about Kansas State.
Me too, man. That's the one I was gonna say. You never know with rivalry games. I'd throw Nebraska out there, maybe if they actually improved, as so many people say they are. But for me, it'd be K-State or Oklahoma State that I would say.
Yep.
Doyle asks, "Are you worried about any position depth from all the new transfers?" I truly don't know at this point. But
I don't think so.
I don't think I'm worried. No. QJ said, "Should the Broncos wait until next year and draft Shador instead of drafting Nix, bro? Please stop. I can't do that." Thank you for the comment, QJ. But
What was it?
he was asking if the Broncos should have skipped on Nix and drafted Shador next year.
Yes.
That one's still fresh, man. Thank you for the comment, though. I can't get into that again, man.
Yes, they should have.
Broncos country edits. Oh, here we go. Is the Shiloh thing a real issue or just overblown situation by the media? Look, man, this happened in 2015.
Oh, that.
I have nothing
You
to say
answered your
about
own
this.
question. An overblown situation by the media.
Yeah, there's nothing to say about that for me.
Oh, God. And then people just wonder why they want to defend themselves. It's like we're relitigating things from when this kid was like 14 years old.
It's wild, man. Trevor says Joe Klatt thinks we can win 6 to 9 games, but then he has Nebraska ranked at 22 and Colorado not ranked. Why is everyone saying that they are so much more improved? I don't see it. So he also said when he started that top 25, he did think about putting Colorado in right at the back end.
Scared money don't make money, Joel.
Why is everyone saying Nebraska's so improved?
Bro, I've dealt with this every year of my entire life. I'm being so serious. This is what everyone does with Nebraska every fucking year. So I'm not surprised by it whatsoever. But it's crazy. It's crazy. I think Dylan Raiola is actually a very good player. But counting on a true freshman quarterback to lead you from a team that was bad all the way to a team that's good now is not smart, in my opinion.
A lot of what I see about it is, well, they had a top 20 defense last year, blah, blah, blah. Like, they're just counting on that being the same and everything else getting better, which is what we do as fans, right? But hardly ever works out that way. They've got to take a big step, man. I mean, you're in this conference here that is fucking loaded.
Yep.
Like, you can't just stay the same, and a true freshman quarterback, it's a big risk.
Yeah, I don't know. This is literally every year. Remember how they did the tiers in the college football payouts for EA Sports?
Yeah.
If it was not your postseason ranking, but it was your preseason ranking, Nebraska probably would have been tier 1. But postseason ranking, they're never ranked.
Yep.
So they were unfortunately tier 4, along with their close relatives, Colorado State.
The basement dwellers. Bernard, do you think, this is a question for you, do you think this team has the talent level of Barnett's 01 team?
Whew. I mean, in different areas, I think there's more talent. Obviously, Shador, more talented at quarterback. There's no one on the 01 team anywhere near Travis Hunter because there's not really anyone ever that's near Travis Hunter in terms of talent level.
Right.
But we'll have to see with the offensive line. The 01 team had multiple NFL offensive linemen. Couple high draft picks. Andre Gerard, who, the Cowboys fans here will remember. Chris Brown, obviously, it's to be seen if there's a running back as good as him or Bobby Purify or Cortland Johnson. So maybe. I just think that there might be like a higher peak of talent. And I hope the aggregate talent can stack up, but that team was really, really well-rounded with a lot of good talent.
Yeah. That's it. Big show tomorrow. Literally.
Yeah, it should be a very, very big show in more ways than one. Someone asked who's the next guests. Well,
Stay tuned.
tune in tomorrow to find out.
We'll see you guys then. I just got an ESPN notification about another Coach Prime article, so can't wait to read and see what else they're spouting off about.
All right.
See you guys tomorrow. Let's go Buffs.
Let's go Buffs.